John and Darin's office chairs provided by GT Omega Racing. You can check them out at gtomegaracing.com.
Welcome to This Week Inside Sim Racing, November 9th, 2016 edition. John Sable here, joined with Billy Strange.
How's everybody doing?
Hopefully well. Hopefully everyone is having a good Wednesday, and we're back to standard time over with our friends in Europe, I believe. And more so, hopefully we all sound fine. I made a couple more adjustments, so you know how the show goes. I keep on meaning to go, and you see in the center of the screen there where we have the all the @links and the GT Omega logo. I keep on meaning to put like a little something there with like an atomic bomb going off, like or dumpster fire.
Hey, I like that.
like this show, things will probably go wrong.
Yes, a nice garbage truck fire would be good.
Yes, it would. So, this week's show, doing the usual news happenings poll question, news talking about some rFactor 2 forum changes, Automobilista has some updates, talking about future American Truck Simulator, GT Sport, and some VR news, more rFactor 2 mod stuff, Forza Motorsport 6 Apex Premium Edition, a Horizon 3 PC demo, friends of the show getting opportunity in the real world, and some iRacing dirt templates release, which I'm sure Billy's going to be very interested in.
Oh, yes. Very much so.
And Billy, what are we doing for happenings?
Let's see. We got Darin has the wind simulator up and running. And then, have you guys experienced stuttering issues in F1 2016? Is that a problem for you? Also, you have received how do you pronounce this? HORI? H-O-R-I? Or is it HORI? H-O-R-I?
I honestly don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't heard it spoken, but we'll make it up.
HORI Racing Wheel. Apex for PS4, PS3. And you have a poll question.
Yep, and then we have a poll question, which will be over here. I'll just say it now. It's an abbreviated version of this one here. How much money how much money do you have in your current wheel and pedals? Not the best written sentence. But yeah, that's over there, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. And yeah, good stuff. So hopefully we're all sounding good. Billy's going to be moderating chat.
Yeah.
Since we're off to that start.
Right, I see your comments.
Yeah, Billy's in charge of that. I gotta drive the bus here. So so let's go ahead and kick it off with our first topic, and that is the rFactor 2 forums have a new home with at Studio 397. Here they are. Honestly, there isn't a whole lot more to add than this. This is an FYI. If you're looking for the forums, they're now. Let me see what the URL is. Here it is. Forum.studio-397.com. So that's how you get to the forums and where all things rFactor 2 are happening.
There you go.
I know. It's like a cool story, bro moment.
Perfect.
But it happened, so here we are reporting it.
As long as you told everybody, yes.
Exactly, yeah. No one can say they don't know where the official rFactor 2 forums are at. They know now. Billy, how about you talk about the next story?
Well, Automobilista released its October development update. Most notably out of that is the release, the impending release of, what is it? The Imola circuit, right? Yes. So 4 different versions, including the 2016 version. And then we got 72, 88, and 2001, which I really like Imola. That's one of my favorite tracks. So I will be excited to check that out.
I'm glad to hear that, because a lot of people don't like. I found like when iRacing released Imola, people were like, and I was like, I like Imola.
I like Imola a lot. I like the unneutered version of Imola better, but sure. I like that track. It's got a good flow to it. Yes.
And then, so that is coming up soon. That's part of the Legendary Tracks Part 1, and Imola will go for $5.99 here in the US, and that's scheduled to come along with version 1.15 update on November 15th. So that's next week. And then there's a picture here up on the screen right now of of the Formula Truck.
Trucks.
Which, that was Formula Trucks was a standalone title from Riza. What was it? Was it 2013? It's the last season.
Yes,
I believe
I think
so.
that's the last one I tried, at least.
Yeah, I believe that's correct. So, so now the Formula Truck's going to be implemented into Automobilista, and that's going to come out as a pack. Sounds like in December, again, for only $6, which isn't too bad. And they're hoping to have that be an officially licensed deal, fully branded series, all that good stuff, which is cool. So I like this. I like to see all this under one roof. And as also this image up on the screen right now, they've put out like I think it's 18 cars and a bunch of track. I don't know, that wasn't right. It was like the cars and tracks they've put out in the last 18 months. So they've been busy.
Yeah, 13 new venues along with 20 car models for 14 series over 18 months.
There it is. That's what I was looking for in the notes. So that's pretty neat. And I keep on saying this, Billy. I keep on wanting to get in and review Automobilista. I just got to find some time to drive it so we can work on a review.
Man, it may not be the most visually stunning simulator out there, but I really enjoy the way the game feels. It feels, when you drive the car, it's one of the very few simulators I've tried that I actually feel connected with the vehicles that I'm driving. So, I don't know. It's just where I'm coming from, my experience, I really enjoy It's probably my most played sim outside of trying to make impressions or reviews or anything. Just playing in general, it's probably my most played this year.
Sure. And something I was going to put in the show this week and I forgot. There was a video that a friend of Inside Sim Racing and past forum moderator Ricky Davies put up on this the Sim Racers Facebook group that I'm a part of. You part of that, Billy?
Maybe.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll have to invite you to it. But anyway, once in a while there's some cool. A lot of times there's some cool stuff that pops up there. And he posted a video up this past weekend of some damage improvements he's working on for Automobilista, specifically beginning with the open wheel cars. And it looks really good. Like,
oh, wow.
Wings popping off and the things how they look like they should be is probably the best way to put it. And I was gonna grab one of those videos, but I might have to go and do that next week. But yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, Automobilista, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff going on there. So
yeah. Well, the inability to still have mods and adjust things. I don't know. Like I said, I know visually it's not on par with some of the other Sims, but I don't think it looks bad. I think it's plenty serviceable. And I think they do a good job with, especially in the last handful of months, like the physics updates and tire model. It just seems like they're doing a really good job improving it.
Yeah. And speaking of which, we got an email yesterday. I think it was yesterday from someone, or at least I hope the fan of the show, who said they had kind of some parts in some of the new content that came out and having one of the race cars scanned. Maybe that Caterham that I believe it was that Caterham that you drove in that test drive.
Oh, really?
That was actually his personal car. So
that's cool.
So I think some point we're gonna try to do some kind of chat with him or feature on the show or something, because his email was really fascinating, kind of going from like a sim racing to real racing, and then kind of this back sim racing connection again with his car actually showing up in a game or in a sim.
That's really neat.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll be good to see.
That'll be something down the road. All sorts of teasers here I'm putting out. Okay, moving on. Next, let's talk about... Whoop, not that. Wrong one. American Truck Simulator. So, it keeps on rolling on with updates, and now you can get the Peterbilt 389 truck, which is being customized in this nice little video from those guys, for free. And then the other news coming along with not just having the truck for free is that they are going to be rescaling the maps to make it bigger, which I guess is just a natural progression since the title's been out for a little while now, since almost a year now, I think. So, yeah, making it so more places to explore. Or longer drives. I think it's actually longer drives.
There you go, longer drives.
That's what I should say. It's not new places, it's just more driving.
Every time I see the phrase big rig, all I can do is think of James Rolfe, the angry video game nerd, doing his big rig truck review. It is, if you haven't watched it, it's hysterical.
I have not watched that. I need.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's pretty good.
But yeah, so American Truck Simulator. That's a title that actually I don't even have it on my PC. That was something that was on Darin's rig that we drove it on when we did our videos. But man, I think I was when I was getting that news story for the show today. I went on their Facebook page, and it has like enormous number of fans.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was a huge number. And it's just like they have. That is such a huge fan base, and it is just it's unbelievable. I mean, to some degree, for a game where you drive semis.
Well, and for what it seems like, people really, really enjoy it too. It's not just, I mean, sure, people request stuff and ask for things, but for the most part, people really seem to enjoy it as well. So it's not like a flash in the pan kind of thing.
No, it isn't. Yeah, they've gone from with Euro Truck Simulator 2, 1 and 2, and all that stuff. Yeah, so it is very, very neat. Okay, next up, talking a little bit about GT Sport, and Jesus Christ, flipping XSplit. Okay,
Whoops.
XSplit is not doing a good job of. I have these videos of longer length I want to show, so I put a spot where I want to show them, and then it doesn't work. Anyway, so this is me playing GT Sport back at E3 over the summer, not in PlayStation VR. And it sounds like that's probably how you're going to be playing the game based off some comments from Kaz here recently over last week, where he was quoted as saying the PlayStation VR is going to be more of a VR tour, and it's not going to be the game's not going to be fully playable in PlayStation VR. So
Yeah. I want to say it was something to the degree of that it was going to be too much of a strain on the player. Really? I believe was the quote. And it was like, are you sure it's not a strain on the development team? Just for the fact that for people that really like VR, this is a win, and you're not going to give it to them because it's going to be a strain. Like, I guess I'm not understanding the thought process there, unless it was a translation error.
Well, here's my thing. Maybe what he's getting at is it would run so choppy that it would be a strain to play. As
there we go.
Frame rate drops, and or so bad looking. Maybe that's what he meant. Maybe
you heard it here. John's an apologist for GT.
Yes. Spread those rumors.
Yep.
So that was that's a bummer.
It's pretty disappointing for people that really are looking forward to VR and that possibly bought PlayStation VR for Gran Turismo Sport, assuming that it would be coming with it.
Yeah, and I mean VR tour. So when I hear that, I'm thinking like, is this a picture mode thing?
I think it's going to be like Forza's, where you can get in and out of the car. The name is escaping me right now.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was.
That mode.
What is that called?
I can't think of it now.
Is that Vista mode?
I was going to say Vista, but I don't think that sounds right.
I don't think that doesn't sound right either. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. Yeah, you can go go into the car, open up a hood. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's gonna really suck if you can't do any driving. But I don't know. Maybe it'll be a down the road thing. I mean,
I'm sure it will be.
Gran Turismo 6 had so many updates for so long. It was kind of nuts because all the updates were, from what I recall, everything was free. So they weren't making any more money off spending all this time continuing to work on the game. So yeah, I kind of wonder if GT Sport's going to be the same type of deal. So maybe down the road you can run it in PlayStation VR. I don't know.
I imagine at some point it's coming. I really feel like they hit a wall with the backlash to the sound and the content that was coming in. They spent Alan from VVV hit on a point that I agree with, where he was like, they spent so much time on the picture mode that even though that's a nice feature, I think players were really more looking forward to the actual driving part of the simmer game itself.
Yeah.
Playing with the pictures. That can come later.
And apparently we were right. It is Forza Vista. So
okay.
Once in a while we get one. I agree. Like when I went and did the little presentation dealio from Kaz at E3 over at Polyphony's kind of like HR location in Venice. It wasn't development. It was PR. I mean.
Yes.
They man, he spent a lot. I mean, it was a long slideshow, and he spent a lot of time on pictures, and it was kind of like, okay, I mean, this is nice and all, and I understand.
Yeah.
I understand developers working on that aren't necessarily taken away from over here. Physics people and graphics and all that. It's all There's different jobs. All the time in sim racing, I mean, people get too. I know iRacing deals with this all the time. Like, why don't you put more resources towards this? And it's like, well, this guy over here does this one specific thing. He can't do that. So,
right.
I get that.
Artists and you got artists and people dedicated to do different things, and they hired somebody on. I think the counter to that would be you spent money on that part of the development instead of putting money into this part of the development. Sure. You may not have been able to develop faster, but you could have had more resources to put into it. So there's an argument for both sides. I understand both sides, but I don't. If it was me presenting it, I would not have. I would not put so much focus on the picture mode. It's really neat. I really like it. I mess with photo mode, but I think that's way too much to spend on it.
I haven't.
Time-wise.
And I didn't even mess with when they came out with that track editor last year, which was a really cool idea. And then I still haven't. I was like, I gotta go try this out, and I still haven't done it. So I don't know. Of course, at this time, it's really hard to get me to go back and blow the dust off of the PlayStation 3. Like the PlayStation 3, I got set up as like the Blu-ray player in the living room.
Right.
And I mean, it's just kind of like, wait, you can still game on this? It's like PlayStation 4 feels old now. Okay, moving on.
Oh, sorry, real quick. Spatial made a comment. Spatial Dragon made a comment about the new sounds. They have released new sound teasers. Some sound pretty good. I don't think they're still up to snuff with other stuff, but they sound better at least. And then other ones, you still get a lot of that vacuum cleaner gear whine, gear drive noise that's just plagued the series. So I did want to throw that out. He is correct. They have released new sound clips.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I've watched these new clips. I'm kind of like, this is still nothing new from what I experienced at E3.
Yeah, I don't think it's that big a leap. I think it's going to be hard to... It's kind of like what I did. I think you experienced the same thing with Assetto Corsa, where I kind of thought the sounds sounded better, but then other times I'm like, is it just me thinking it sounds better, or does it really sound better? And now that I don't have a way to compare it, I'm not sure.
That is funny. I was driving it this week, and I was doing a hypercar race, and I was watching the replay, and I was hearing the LaFerrari go by, and the 918s and P1, and I was kind of like, I don't know, this sounds better. It was kind of like the sound was more isolated. It was almost
okay.
I don't know. It didn't sound like, because when you get a mass of cars together, it kind of roof. I don't know, if you've been I've been to NASCAR races, and it's kind of like a rolling thunder type thing where it all kind of merges together.
All blends together. Yep.
Yeah, this sounded very like car, and that was something I was kind of I don't know if I recalled that before. But you're right.
So
it is hard. It is hard to reference.
Yeah, that would be more about the ambient noise that's being, reverberated, rather than, I guess I wasn't. Maybe the car that I was driving, I didn't see that, or maybe I just wasn't paying attention. I don't remember, but I did kind of struggle with figuring out if the sounds were better.
Yep. Okay, so moving on. Let's talk about a new track coming to rFactor 2 in mod form, and this is from Pixsim, and this is a laser scan historic GP circuit charade. And I'm probably butchering that. This is a French track. I've honestly never heard of this. An old F1 track, and it is 8 kilometers long, or 5 miles, and it was constructed in 1958. The Circuit Clermont-Ferrand. And it was home to the French Grand Prix.
Clermont?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know.
Probably. And it was home to the French Grand Prix in 1965, 69 through 70 and 72. I mean, looking at the spline of this track at 5 miles long, this thing looks like a nightmare to pass on. Like they made a comment like this is like a Nordschleife type deal, and I'm like, it looks like it. I mean, look at the elevation too going on. But yeah, I mean, people give a bunch of crap to Tilke tracks these days. He ain't got nothing on this. There's no straights.
It's just amazing what they ran on back in the day too.
Oh, I know. Well, like that picture when that comes back around the slideshow, it was just kind of like dirt and hills, and hopefully that kind of stops your car when you go off the track. Or you just fall off the cliff.
It's a suggestion to slow down. You don't really have to.
Yes, we highly recommend you slow down. I mean, you don't have to.
Look at the people. Look at the people sitting on the very edge of the road right there.
Yeah, and up on the hillside.
I mean, how awesome would that be to actually sit there and watch something like that, but help you if it comes off the track?
Yes, but let's see. A little bit more. Pixsim is a French modding studio, and they are working. This is what interesting thing is they say laser scan historic GP circuit. So I'm kind of curious. I mean, here it is. This is a scan point cloud. I'm kind of curious how they got this. Did they go out and rent something? Did someone already have that? I mean, look. I mean, it's huge space.
Yeah,
aerial
I don't know,
thing.
But down below it says, I don't know if you've gotten to this yet, but it says in '89 the old circuit was reduced to a size of 3.975 kilometers or 2.47 miles and is still being used as a testing ground for driver training schools.
Yes, and they're planning on releasing 2 circuits. So they want to do the main layout from 72, and then they're going to do a version, a 72 version, but like it had been modernized. That's going to be a fictional track.
It looks cool.
So that's a cool idea. That is a cool concept. Take it from 72 when it was all crazy and got guardrails and stuff. Okay, now let's put like real walls in there and tire barriers and a paddock. What does that look like? Yeah,
modernize the circuit. That would be cool to see if you could do that with a bunch of different circuits, like Bridgehampton and some of those other ones that they ran, that like Can-Am and old Grand Prix circuits and stuff. That would be neat.
Yeah. We were rambling there for a bit. And I was like, "What's Chapin up to?" Oh, we're just talking about everything, but what we've been talking about. Okay. Jack,
as somebody pointed out earlier, they're really upset that I'm on the show. So
I did see that. Yeah, man, get out of here, Billy, ruining stuff. Wah. So let's see. You want to kick off this next story? Forza Motorsport 6.
Formula 6 apex of the motorsporting. So Forza Motorsport 6, the Apex I can't even say it and I'm reading it. Premium Edition is now available for PC. So looks like we've got a car pack and a track pack. So it's $16.99 US. And it looks like that's what you get. The content that's already on there, and then the Nürburgring track pack, and then how many cars is this? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know. What about 12, 13 cars? 15 cars?
Yep.
Somewhere there.
Yep. And right now we're watching footage from one of Billy's old test drives around Spa on Apex after it got wheel support. But yeah, so it's a little bit of a steep price if I'm being honest. $17, and yeah, you get about a dozen cars, and then you get the Nordschleife and all of its weather conditions. So yeah,
it's just more of the same, and you run into this problem with some games that come into early access and beta programs that get a lot of testing out in the public, is that there's no fanfare when the title actually comes out. So it's kind of limping across the start line when it started way back there. It'll be interesting to see if they gain any traction with a paid model. I think if they came out of the gate with a paid model, it probably would have done better.
Yeah.
But that would have also meant that they could have had to have the lack of features and issues that they also had. So it's a flip of the coin.
Yeah. People asking, I guess, Spatial Dragon say you couldn't find it there in the store, just seen the free copy. And Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't gone and looked myself. Guys, you know something about USB support on Apex. So USB support's just a single input device, right?
As far as I know, yes.
Yeah. So
The last time I tested it, at least.
yeah. So you did a little bit of driving at Apex. I think I have. Maybe. I think so. It's been a while. Anyway, do you feel like Apex has better steering wheel feel than Horizon 3? Because Horizon 3 definitely feels a little off, and I know some people have felt like real off, and I don't recall having that issue with Apex. But I would assume they'd be the same.
I'd have to try Apex again to see if they've done an update, but from the last time that I tried it was when the wheel support first came out.
Yeah.
They're both just okay-ish. I think they're better than the Xbox version of at least the standard Forza Motorsport 6. Yeah. I don't remember about Forza Horizon 3, but there's some odd, weird... There's not a lot of feeling in the center of the wheel, which can really mess with you if you're not prepared for it. I didn't notice the heavy understeer moments from either title. I don't know. I would say they're fairly similar.
Okay. I mean, I do, and it was one thing we have, another thing that kind of got pushed to the wayside. Wanted to go back and do a little short review on Forza Horizon 3 on the PC, which, by the way, let's just, this is the next story, by the way.
Nice segue.
Rolling into this.
No segue. You've got a segue. You can save it.
Segue. Forza Horizon 3 PC demo is out now. Here is me playing this demo. This was on the PC, and this is the demo at E3. So the demo doesn't come with a 65-inch curved OLED TV or whatever obnoxious, amazing TV that was. But yes, the demo is out now, so if you want to try out Horizon 3 on the PC, this is a way to try it out without having to go and purchase it. But yeah, back on this topic, because like I feel like Horizon 3 feels better with the wheel on the Xbox than the PC. I feel like something was kind of amiss there, and I haven't gone back and played with it more.
Well, the Xbox is just heavier. Like when you fire up the Xbox and run Forza either one, it is decidedly heavier, a heavier feeling in the wheel, and in my opinion, it's too strong.
Well, yeah, you do have to turn it down.
Yeah, and then you start losing some of the fidelity in the force feedback. So I think it's a little too weak on PC. I think it's too strong on the Xbox. There's no happy medium. Yeah. Maybe one of these times we'll get back and try it out. I mean, I know on the I know Forza Horizon 3 in general, they're going to be having the first expansion. This winter is coming type teaser they had. So yes. That might be one motivation to jump back in it here sooner than later. Okay, next up, I want to give a shout out. And this is something I wrote this when I thought Darin was going to be on the show. Again, we like that Billy's here. It's okay.
But
all right.
But I didn't even put it on here. Son of a. Well, I guess I can't show you what I was going to show. Anyway, so it was announced this week or yesterday that I'm struggling today. Pablo GoPro Lopez is going to be representing iRacing at the Mazda Road to 24 Shootout. So very, very well done. And the interesting thing, it was a couple of things interesting. First, when we talked about this Mazda Shootout from a couple weeks ago, it was kind of a confusing document. And it confused me because I thought if you won that, when it involved qualifying the MX-5 at Laguna Seca, top 40 cars got to race in the race, and then you were picked from that race to represent Mazda. You didn't necessarily have to win the race. It was like you had to submit like a video thing and marketing.
Right.
So I thought from there, if you won that, then you're going to go right into the Mazda Series, win the $100,000 scholarship. But it's not like that. It's like how it was last year, when that just got you a chance to possibly win the scholarship in this Mazda Road to 24 shootout.
Yes.
Where you compete against, I believe it's 8 contestants this year. I was actually looking at the list earlier today. And they're from all forms of how you got there to how you got into the race. But anyway, Pablo was chosen from iRacing, so he will be flying over, because I believe he is based out of Spain, flying over to New Orleans next week for November 15th through 16th. They have the competition at NOLA Motorsports Park. So, pretty neat. Now,
yes,
if he wins, that's going to be a lot of frequent flyer miles.
That's funny.
But I assume they already got that figured out, because that was part of the proposal, because it was like $100,000 for the car, and then pretty much all that travel and stuff you had to go figure out yourself. So, yes.
Yeah. So good luck to him. I hope he does well, and at least have fun while you're doing it. That's the whole point.
Exactly. And hopefully it doesn't pour like it did last year when Glenn McGee did it.
Right.
It was like a monsoon type rain. They're out there driving. Like,
but
oh
it's
boy.
a great equalizer.
Well, there you go. That is
See?
true. Maybe that's why he won it. And I know he has some karting background, which I'm sure that helps too.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that does it for. Oh no, one more news item. I didn't put it here in the thing. This was breaking news today. iRacing released images. There you go. Billy,
Yeah.
Of the three dirt cars. We don't know if that's going to be the total for as of now. Coming to the service sometime #soon, because nothing's been made official yet. But I think when they're putting what it was, they put out these images and they have a website. Let me pull it up here where you can go and download the templates. So iRacing.com/dirt paints. So download the templates and get all your paint ready for when this is released.
Yep, and I am no good at doing the paints. I tried the other day and it did not look good. But I did have somebody send me one for my the rFactor mod I've been playing of one of my sprint cars. So shout out to Michael Sellers. He did a great rendition of probably the car that I had the most success in, and maybe I can persuade him to make me one for the iRacing stuff.
Yeah, see, that's man. I wish we should remember that earlier. We would have put it on the show and showed that off.
This is how I operate. I think of it at the very last possible second.
Exactly. It's like me getting GoPro's images of his MX-5. But yeah, so that is a coming, which is very, very neat. So yeah, three cars there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I like the look of, since my sprint background is in sprint cars, it's nice to see that they have a more modern hood on it. For a while, we were doing like a lot of over the rail for the down tubes, and now it's the under the rail, which is more like a J&J or New Eagle, stuff like that. So looks nice.
I can't wait for it to come out just to see you go and like pound out a million test drives and just be like, this is what I do. This is my baby. I'm so happy. Well, hopefully you're happy. I mean, we'll find out, but no one will really know better than you.
And I've had some conversations with some other people just in preparation, really, for the dirt stuff on iRacing using the rFactor mod. And I haven't changed any of the physics in the rFactor mod, but I've actually gone through and changed the damage files, some of the AI files to get the AI running better. More realistic in their corner speeds. Not that the guys did a bad job. It's awesome out of the box, but I just, for my own curiosity, I wanted to see what I could mess with, and converted a bunch of old BOZ sprint car skins and put them into that one. And so for fun, that's what I've been playing lately. I should do a video on it, but sometimes I just don't want to talk. I just want to sit there and drive. So that's what I've been doing. When we get to that point, I'll be showing off the skin of the car.
Nice. Yeah, I can't. This last week, we we talked about. I think in the last year we were doing a lot of work on the website, and we're still kind of slowly getting there. Websites, but added a dirt oval section to the car racing games page that's at the top of our website in the menu, and yeah, looking forward to start populating that. I have to read this comment because this is hilarious. Tom Jones. John says when Marriage Simulator comes out, he is going to have Angela play it on the Rift, then have a ring for her when she takes the Rift off. That's funny and clever. Of course, that'd be like...
That's a good idea.
It's not a bad idea, but it's like, how do you get him to do that like out in like a nice like nature setting other than like in the studio, which as you see, like there's living room stuff in here because we're working on the house, so it's like, yeah.
That would be funny. Actually, yeah. What you should do is render it in the 3D environment and have her like go on in virtual reality, go on like a wild goose chase for it, and then you can present at the very end, and she'll be like, "Oh my gosh," and you'd be like, "Yeah." That
would be so. There was tangents, but there was I saw a video last week, or around Halloween time, and it was a Halloween ride that was on a real subway. That was I don't know if it just did a track. Well, I don't know if it's like it's just a loop or whatever it did. But you went into a subway car and it moved, and you put a Vive on, and then you were in like a horror thing.
Whoa!
Like things would jump out at you, and you're on in VR. You're in a subway car and being attacked, but your body's actually moving. So you're getting that it's all happening. And I think they were doing things like blasts of air and stuff like that. So it's like,
man, that would be really cool.
Yeah, that's
the stuff that gets me excited about VR. I know people were kind of giving me a little bit of grief because last time I was poo-pooing on VR a little bit, but I think it's a really good idea. I am really waiting for round 2 of the hardware because I really, really want to give it. I've dabbled with now all 3 of them, but I don't own any of them. So, I like the idea. I like the concept. I'm in reservation mode, or I'm reserved until round 2 of the hardware comes out, because I'm excited to see where that's going to be.
Yep, that makes total sense. I mean, if people watched our review, that was kind of my take. Which I still, by the way, I haven't tried out those prescription lenses. I've been busy with other stuff that you'll be seeing here in the future. And I haven't had a chance to pop those in, but I'm going to try to do that probably tomorrow because I really want to try that out and kind of get that video out sooner than later. Let's see. So on to happenings now. Finally, if I put it all in the XSplit here.
Right. Quick, sorry. If you guys want to start putting, I've got a few questions. If you want to start putting your questions in so we can answer them. And yes. Now I won't cut John off.
Perfect.
Go.
I was waiting. Keep cutting me off. Here's images of Darin got Avengers, Richard McDonald's Wind Simulator up and hooked up, and he posted these on our Facebook. And hopefully he'll be back soon enough so he can talk about this or do a separate video. But yeah, this looks pretty sweet. This isn't. I didn't really. I guess I was kind of thinking the whole unit. I didn't really imagine the tubes with this, but yes, this is that is pretty clean.
It's one of those things where I think it's going to be like a little bit like VR. Like you have to experience the thing to like kind of get the gist of what it's doing. I mean, I know what it does, but it looks cool. I mean, it looks well done. So
it does look very pro. Like I like. I mean, it looks super clean. You know, having those outlets. See, I didn't realize what those 3D printed cylinders were for. Or I didn't realize. I don't know. I didn't imagine this. I'm sorry. I'm dumb. So yeah, no, that's pretty clean. And then also, I think there was another picture I missed. He actually went and he drilled a hole. There, you can see it here. He drilled a hole through the base of the Oculus sensor, and he bolted that into the 80/20 profile that he has there to have it at that angle. But no, that is that's pretty slick looking. Yeah, I can see that. I need to get like a fan on me racing in VR. Everyone said that having a fan on you is helpful, and I I can see this being really cool. So
it's a neat idea. I mean, yeah, I guess well, it looks cool. I like it.
okay. Let's see. And then, okay, this was something that I just kind of added quickly today, happenings, because this is something I kind of want to put out to you guys. I was trying to drive F1 2016 last couple days. I haven't driven it in a while, and I want to have it in a piece coming up. But two things. First off, I was actually running it in triples, and I wasn't getting bad frame rate at high settings. So when I did the review, I had run it like at medium, and it was like still like, I don't know, 40s, 50s. Like it wasn't great.
Okay.
Now I'm able to run at high and do the benchmark, and it was running in the 60s on average. Which, I like to be a little higher, but I can
Sure.
I can live with that. So that was cool, but I was getting really bad. I guess you can say stuttering, but it wasn't like consistent. Like it was like fine for like 5, 6, 7 seconds, and then stutter. Everything would slow down, and then go and be fine, and then slow down. And I got this email today from Ken Harris, who asked, hey guys, I have been having a micro stutter in F1 2016. Did you guys see this when you reviewed it? I have a GTX 1080. I run it across 3 screens. I get it all the time after playing for about 10 minutes or so, and it is a 1-second pause, and then when it continues, it goes at such a speed you can crash or go off track. So I was getting it right off the bat, but it was very similar to what he described there, where it is like this second long pause. And he said he contacted Codemasters, and that kind of dried up. So he was just kind of wondering if, or they said like, I think he said something like they. Let's see. Okay, well, let me just read. So he said, I have contacted Codemasters, but the emails seem to have dried up. I have also ran the game with various lower settings and even ran it on its lowest setting with some results. The issue is on their forums. There are heaps of gamers with the same issue. Codemasters say they can't reproduce the issue. It happens to me more so in time trial. So that's something I kind of wanted to put out there because, yeah, I had the same issue. And it's really not drivable with it.
The only time I've encountered this, and this is not related, but it is something to check if you end up having this problem, is if you've overclocked your monitor and you haven't tested the overclocking, so let's say like the one monitor I had before I got the BenQ said it could be overclocked to 80. It's a 60 hertz, but it could be overclocked to like 80 something. When I did that, I did not realize it was actually cutting my frame rate in half, and I would get these odd little micro stutters and stuff like that, because what it was doing is it was really telling it that it was running at 40 hertz because it couldn't catch every frame. So then realistically, it could only be overclocked to like 62 without skipping a frame. So if you happen to be somebody that overclocks their monitors, you do want to check that if you're getting stutters with the game, because it would happen frequently with different titles.
Gotcha. And that brings it up. In my options settings, I have refresh rate set at auto because it kind of defaults to that when I go to triples for some reason. And it seems to be at 144, but I don't know. Maybe I should go in there and force it to 144 and maybe see if that makes a difference.
I always put mine at whatever. If I can force it at 144, then that's what I leave it as. And I also stop it at 144. I don't let it go over that. Because I've noticed every once in a while, like some sims don't like super high frame rate. Like it starts, I don't know, it does weird, sometimes it'll do weird stuff.
Yeah.
Like I noticed in iRacing and stuff, so I'll just like stop 144 as the cap. Like rFactor does it. Where if you let it go really high, because mine now blows rFactor out of the water, it'll do 200 and something frames a second. So I go in to my player file and limit it at 144, so it stops at like 150.
Yeah. No, I do the same thing. There's no reason, because like I said, iRacing, when you're turning those crazy frames per second, it really fluctuates, and it's just it's just not needed. No reason to have the GPU running full blast the whole time. But yeah. So yeah, that's maybe someone. I didn't quite see anything in chat going on here, but I do see lots of questions. So hopefully Billy's snagging those.
I'm grabbing them.
We will be busy with Q&A. Let's see. One last happenings, and by the way, I might work on reaching out to Codemasters or maybe Twitter or something, because yeah, I want to see that. Lastly, so you might have saw if you follow social media, but if you don't, got a new racing wheel for the PS4/PS3, the HORI HORI Racing Apex. Jesus Christ, HORI Racing Wheel Apex. So, or we're saying it's HORI, or I don't know, who knows?
Yeah, but that's good enough.
Here's the box. I
think our audience is intelligent enough to understand what we're talking about.
Yes. I haven't unboxed it yet, obviously, but this is a $100 wheel, so this will be fascinating to see what you get for $100. Yeah, well, we will see. It doesn't look too bad. I do know specs. I think it's limited to like 270 degrees of rotation. It's low degrees rotation. So,
interesting.
We'll see what that's all about.
That's like old school.
Oh, that is not much. So I'm pretty sure that's what it was. It was kind of surprising. So yeah, we'll see what $100 gets you. Because I mean, if you think out there in wheel and pedal set land, besides this, the cheapest wheel and pedal set I can think of are the Thrustmaster TMX and T150 at $200. And
you're speaking like new.
Yes, brand new. Yeah, brand new, not used. I mean, used market is what it is.
Right.
So yeah, there's no DFGTs out there anymore. Someone did ask if we could compare this to DFGT. I don't have one here. I know Darin still has one. I
have a Driving Force Pro, but I don't have the.
You don't have the.
Yeah,
DFGT.
I've got the Driving Force Pro for what is it? For Gran Turismo 4 on the PS2.
Oh wow! So yeah, I don't know if I can do a direct comparison to that, but I will say from everything I've read, the DFGT is not that far off from the G27. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but it sounds like it's not too far off there, and I have years and years of experience with the G27. So I think I can kind of draw a close enough conclusion or comparison, etc. So, yep, we'll see how that goes, and if nothing else, it gives us another wheel to talk about with our PlayStation 4 buyer's guide, which there's some buyer's guide because it's getting towards the end of the year, and I kind of want to start getting some of those back out again because those were really popular last year. So
yeah,
I got to get cracking.
Hurry up!
I know, only so many hours in a day, which I think was a question.
Yes.
Last up, poll question. I should have. Okay, well, because we're just talking about wheels, let's talk about this week's poll question. So it's up here. Question is, how much cash do you have in your wheel and pedals? The different options are, I think I had like below $250, between $250 and $500, $500 and $1,000. $1,000 to $2,000 and $2,000 plus, I believe, and then I also have the euros there for you guys overseas. So yeah, I'm kind of just curious to see, just how much cash you guys, and that's for your current wheel and pedal set. I don't know if I didn't fit that. Stupid YouTube in their poll questions. They give you like 30 characters to type something. So I couldn't put current.
Because they want you to be shorthand for like, I has cheeseburger, please.
I know, exactly. So, yeah, but yeah, that is for your current wheel and pedal set, not the history, because I know some of you have spent a whole bunch over the history of your sim racing. So, yep, just kind of curious where everyone stands. And speaking of which, Billy, do you wanna read off last week's poll question results? Do you got that up?
Let me finish grabbing this question right quick. There we go. Okay. Poll question for last week: are you a VR user? 19% of you said hashtag soon. 24% yes. 55% no.
You know, this was out of I think this was about 350 votes, which is a decent sample size, and yeah, kind of 50-50. You know, the hashtag soon. You know, those are people who are planning on buying one here in the near future.
Which I'm in that camp.
Yeah, so that's not too shabby, and I think it shows, you know, VR. I don't know about VR sales, but according to Steam, VR games being played in VR are very low percentage-wise. Yes. But I have a feeling the sim racing industry is bolstering those numbers hugely, because it seems like a fair number of you guys have gone and taken the leap.
Yeah, and and that's indicative of also. I'm sorry, I'm not looking because I'm grabbing questions at the same time while answering, but that's also indicative of the type of experiences that are available, that at least that I've seen, for the Vive, Oculus, and PlayStation VR. And what's interesting is you talk to most people that have VR, and they don't even know that most, not all, but a good portion, let's say, of the titles that we are racing in right now have some form, at least, of VR.
Yes.
Like, you know, we talk about Assetto Corsa, we talk about iRacing, like, that gets completely glossed over. And I understand we are in a niche market, but the one that gets kind of right now, the bad rap on the door is Drive Club. Seems to be making people ill.
Oh, yeah?
And so that's going to be, unfortunately, that's going to be the mass consumer's first exposure to a driving game with VR.
Sure.
And that's unfortunate.
And I mean, to some degree, the masses are going to get exposed more in a PlayStation VR situation. Because if we keep it on the PC, let's say we keep it like in Steam. Since there's for how many, for last 10 to 15 whatever years, the cry has been, consoles are going to take over PC sales. PC gaming is going to die off. It's too expensive, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And now, PC gaming is just, last, I don't know, few years, 5 years, especially with Steam, really gone the other direction. And YouTube. Well,
and before this generation started in 2013, it was the death of the console, because Steam and PC was being so much more user-friendly now.
Yes. So, but yeah, so if you look at, like, let's say the Steam base that can see what's in VR, Project Cars was a launch title on the Oculus Rift. So, that's a pretty good one to get a first exposure to, especially because Project Cars is something that really no one else, almost no one else does. Dirt Rally does this, but the whole user interface and being able to keep the headset on your head and do the point and click type thing in Project Cars is a big difference. And that was even something I'm going to be reviewing these prescription lenses, and something that me and Richard talked about on a private message on the ISR TV forums. He mentioned how, you got a prescription in your VR, but a lot of times you got to pop it up to see what's on screen and you put your glasses on, and that just not great.
I have to say that the PlayStation VR was the most comfortable with my glasses, and I know mine are a little smaller than yours are, so it was the most comfortable because it doesn't suck. I mean, it's not clamped to you. I'm getting in front of the mic. It doesn't clamp right to your face like the Oculus and the Vive do. So for glasses, I think the hardware itself is much more comfortable with the PlayStation VR. So they've got things to work out. Yeah. They've got all these little tiny things that just need refinement, and there are experiences for the PlayStation VR that are available that seem more full experiences than I have found, minus the sim racing titles, in the PC market. So it's an interesting difference. And hopefully people, for those that really like VR, hopefully, people really latch onto it and we start getting some really amazing stuff.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, so that moves us to Q&A, which sounds like there are plenty of things to talk about. People are asking, I am just talking about wheel and pedals for that pricing. I'm leaving out all other peripherals because, that can kind of get out of hand quickly. But, yep, peripherals. Oh, and I don't have the dog with me. The dog's being... The girls are home, so the dog's getting attention other than just, sitting in my lap. Which she does. Anytime I'm on the computer, she sits on my lap here. So, good lap dog.
Such a good dog.
That's right. So, you want to kick off the questions here?
Yeah, let's start with Lars B. When will the Porsche pack be released for consoles? I believe they said November, but haven't given a specific date yet, right?
Yeah, I wanted to, I wish... Hashtag soon. I want to be, fancy. Pinky out. Hashtag soon.
Man.
Yeah, it's supposed to be November for the first pack.
I haven't heard anything beyond that.
Nope. And then the next PC pack is going to be later this month, the 20-something. Yes. 20-something, and then same with the last pack's going to be December 20-something. I don't know by that time if maybe they'll have the console synced up with the PCs. I don't know if they were able to throw it all over the fence at those guys, or they're still working on stuff. Who knows?
Well, you would think that if they are coming out with the pack, right, that they're going to have to update the whole thing, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that they said there's different tire models in the PC version and everything. So these are new cars, so I would think they'd have to kind of put everything that they've got now into the console version. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yep.
And I'll ask it for you.
Yeah.
Spatial Dragon asks you, how are you doing in the Formula E Racing Series, John? People want to know.
Well, not good when you're getting DNSs. Did not start. Yeah, I did not race this past weekend, which was bad. Last week I was like, I'm going to race, and then I got racing other things and got busy with other things. So, yeah, that needs to be... I need to get back into it tomorrow and do a qualifying thing. But, yeah, no, I spent my $25, and I've done a real crap job of competing. So yes, I need to get back into it. I got kind of messed up when we did Le Mans, because I got so focused on that, and then since then I don't have any excuses. Let's see, Steve Baxter, Billy, I want your voice as my iRacing spotter.
Hey, if somebody wants to give me the file types to record it and tell me how to do it, I'll do it.
Someone please do that.
Yeah, I'll do it. And then Jack asked about my sprint car, if who made the skin for me, if they were my real life colors and sponsors, and they were. He did a great job. I mean, I think it's about as close as you can get that particular year of car that I drove. So Mr. Sellers did a great job.
Nice. Did you find the sponsors, the images somewhere online, or did he make them from scratch?
That I don't know.
Because I didn't ask. Man, there's some painters out there that would go and it's like, oh, I couldn't find this vector file anywhere, so I just made it from scratch. And
and he did that with my strange Motorsports logo. I mean, he got it really close I had. So hats off to you guys that do the paints and stuff. I could probably do it if I spent long enough doing it, but quite honestly, there are so many more people that are, quite frankly, better at it than I am. I will leave it to the professionals.
Yeah, I mean that's where I'm at. Like, I used to paint all my cars on iRacing, and I kind of had a common paint scheme template that I just kind of modified for each. And I think they were honestly good looking paints. It just took me a lot of time because I didn't necessarily know how to do it the fastest way. So yeah, and I just don't feel like getting back in there and having to figure out where all the templates line up and all that kind of stuff. It's just like, I've gotten lazy, especially with Inside Sim Racing logos like in like an iRacing. It's kind of like, oh, that works. Or I drive like a set of course, I grab an orange car. Like off we go. Don't have to worry about
Right.
paying for Assetto Corsa.
I've just to keep it consistent with the ISR colors, I've been trying to drive orange cars if I can, or something like that.
But yes, a Billy spotter pack would be awesome. Spatial Dragon again. How is iRacing going to handle the safety ratings on dirt? Every bump is points for both or all parties involved. We don't know. There's going to be a separate point system.
Yes.
According to them, but how that all works out, we don't know yet.
Really, I'm going to be curious to see how this works, because with the open wheel car, with the sprint car, you don't want to bump, and if you do, it usually doesn't end well. With the more stock car like stuff, there's a lot more beating and banging, so it'll be interesting to see how they apply the safety rating.
Yep. Want to the next one?
Yeah, Tom Jones, Q&A, does Automobilista have proper triple screen support? No VR. Since they've been updating, I don't know, actually, because I don't run triples.
This was something.
I'm not positive.
This is bad. I should know this, but I thought no. But the other day when I was driving it, I drove it for I drove it for another piece. I was driving around VIR. I think it was for the CSL review, and I didn't see it anywhere. But then again, we missed it on rFactor 2 last year. We were talking about how it didn't have triple screen support, and people were like, "There's triple screen support," and it's just like it's a dumb way you have to activate it. Like it's not a user friendly. It doesn't really make much sense. But rFactor 2 does have triple screen support. So Automobilista being built off of rFactor engine, maybe it does, but I've been meaning to go in there and find it, but I don't think so. But someone knows.
Well, and I apologize because I don't run triples. I run an ultra wide that I'm really happy with. So I don't know. I'm sorry. And then Mr. Finnegan wants me to do a movie review voiceover, like the in a world where there was one tortilla left on the planet, there was a boy.
And then
help him. One man has taken it upon himself to find a mission for Tortilla Boy.
And somehow he ends up in a sim racing thing, and that's the video. It's like, this doesn't make any sense.
Yes, that's gonna be my spotter deal for when you hit the wall or something in iRacing.
Yeah, you hit the wall. Ooh, go get yourself a tortilla. That car is done.
You have now become the Tortilla Boy.
I would love a fake trailer like that somehow, like sim racing theme. Maybe we just do a bunch of explosions. Just get a bunch of crashes, and then put like a fake explosion of fireballs over it. That'd be funny.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. And then we've got a couple comments real quick. Automobilista has multi-view, and then turn it off. This is from Spatial. It moves the HUD and makes it look different. And Aventus says it does have proper triple screen support if you follow the correct formula. So it looks like it does have triple support. You may have to do a little tweaking with it, but it sounds like it's in there.
Okay, that's right. Multi-view is what they call it. That's right. That's an rFactor term. Okay, yeah, I gotta play with it. Normally when I drive, quite frankly, normally when I drive Automobilista, I'm in an open wheel car, and it doesn't really bother me as much having the stretched sides. It's when you get like in a tin top and everything's like, oh god, why is the mirror so big? I don't know.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I seem to notice it more in those cars with open wheels. Let's see, where are we at? Kiro 666. It could be me, but the best driver. But are AC special events hard to achieve? I was trying tunnel vision, Ferrari 138 on Monza. Even with adjusting wing settings, I cannot achieve the easy mark. Billy, talking about AC special events, balance of performance is your specialty, so I'm going to let you have the floor.
So this is something that if you plug here, if you want to go watch my latest video, I discuss where that they make it's just confusing for me because it seems like some of them are, fairly on the mark. And then the other ones seem ridiculously easy, and then some are really hard. So the example I used was driving the 91730 around the historic version of Silverstone that they just came out with, hitting easy, I think was like a 122, and then gold was a 118. So I cranked the AI all the way up, put the highest grip level track down for the AI, and I tried it several different ways, several different ambient temps and all that. The AI got nowhere near 118. In fact, they couldn't even come. I think the fastest they ran was a 123, which I said leads to a broader discussion. Where are they getting these goals? And as you could say, well, don't play it then. But the point is, you've put it in the game, you've put it in the sim. So why is there such a large disparity in everything? If you've got 118 as maybe 95% of what the AI can do, or the other way around, maybe it's 100%, then I guess my larger question is, how are you coming up with these goals for everybody? You've put them in there, you've done the time and effort to put these things in there. How are you coming up with them? Is it just you guys driving that, you get to drive AC all the time, so you just telling the world that we just need to get faster, or what? It's a little confusing. So no, I wouldn't practice a little bit more, try making some adjustments, but some of them are not easy to hit, even on the bronze mark. Don't beat yourself up too bad about it, which is unfortunate.
Okie dokie.
Not the beating up part.
Let's see. Frank Zappa. John, do you use the Oculus SDK debug tool, and how's it working for you? I played around with it one time, but I haven't. My last go, I haven't. The last time I installed it, cause I've had to do it a couple times. I haven't played with it. So something else I gotta kind of mess with. And
then Bone Racer asks you, what's the best way to mount the sensor from the Oculus Rift on top of triples?
I have mine sitting. Yep, there we go. So you kind of see back there on the bat. I have mine sitting on top of the frame for my triples, and essentially it's just sitting on top of the monitor stand. It's not on center there, but it doesn't have to be, as long as you point it towards your headset and then do the proper setup. But no, I mean that seems to work out. Cool story, bro.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't, when I tested it, it was somebody else's stuff, so I don't know.
Okay, you got next one.
Where are we at here? This is
Kyle Bobby.
For a starter sim, G25 or G27, I'm planning on using these for PS3. G27 is more expensive on eBay. Well, I think the G27 is considered a better wheel, isn't it?
It is. I mean, it's better. It's not like a tremendous amount.
Yeah, it's not a leap ahead, but it is a little bit of better wheel.
Yeah, you get the G27 had the helical, I think, gear set, so it's like a little smoother.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, essentially, and more of the carryover was G27 than G29, where you really don't have any difference in terms of the internal hardware besides the sensors in there, so they don't go out. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's a big price difference. I say G25 is fine. It's not really that. The biggest thing for me with the G27 that I liked was getting more buttons. G25.
Yeah, I was going to say the G25 has a limited amount of buttons, where the 27 has more on the spoke.
25 had 1-2 buttons, and then 27 had 1 2 3 4 5 6, so 3 on each side. So that definitely comes a lot more in handy in terms of in mapping things. So
and then let's see your next one. Whoa, Martin I apologize. John, still using the CSL Elite pedals on the bat. Are they still performing well?
Yeah.
If you are.
Yeah, no. I mean, I like those pedals. Had someone hit me up with a message today saying V2s or CSLs, and like I said in the CSL review, I prefer the CSL over the V3s. So I think a lot of them. I mean, yeah, the gas and clutch aren't as nice, but they get it done enough for me, and I just kind of like the braking feel and the layout of them. And I like them a lot.
Nice.
Let's see. Tom Jones, Q&A. John, what's the average day like at ISR TV? Is it sim racing for hours on end, or constant video editing, or staring at the ceiling trying to come up with ideas? It seems like a great life to me. It is a mix of all that. So let's see. For example, this week I did a lot of filming. Today's Wednesday, so like this week, I mean, I do normally work every day. I mean, I'll take days off here and there, but there's no set hours. But like, for example, Angela works every other weekend, so normally when she's working, I'm working. But on Monday, I shot some B-roll for a product you guys will be seeing. Both B-roll on the desk, fancy panning shots, and also me driving. And then yesterday I did, I think I did some more driving and shooting, and then I wrote the script for it. And if I was really good, I was going to film it, but I kind of ran out of time, and then I got watching election stuff. So, yeah, I sucked it up yesterday. So probably when I get done actually shooting this show today, I'll probably go and I'll shoot that piece. And then tomorrow I'm going to try to put those VR prescription lenses in and test that out, and probably film myself doing that. And if I get on that early enough, then I'll write my script for that. And I don't know, maybe shoot that on Friday. And then we're working on the website, so I got website stuff. I'm talking to web guys on that, and I do mock-ups in Photoshop for that, because sometimes a picture's worth 1,000 words when you're working different locations. And yeah, that's kind of what's going on these days. I need to do some driving for that Formula E thing. So yeah, it's a mix. It's a mix of stuff. I mean, when we did that VR review, that was like a week. That was like a solid 4 days of like me editing. So some things are more painful than others. Like last week, those tech tip videos, like I shot those both back to back on Tuesday. Figured out, kind of took rough notes of what I wanted to say on both of them, shot them, and then I edited those, and I got them out this weekend. So those are pretty painless. So it depends. Rambling.
That's okay. Let's see. Racing 393. What job did you do before ISR TV?
Before ISR TV, I was doing business consulting work with my dad. I just got in my MBA, and we had he has a consulting business in intangible assets and valuing them, and all that kind of good stuff. And before that, I was in aerospace engineering. I have an undergraduate degree in composite materials engineering, and I was building Boeing 787 forward fuselages, and then I was building center fuselages for the Airbus A350 in North Carolina and the forward wing spar. 3 sections that equal up the whole length of the wing of the A350.
Wow.
So I built stuff. And I had a short stint before I got laid off out of aerospace, which is why I got out of it, doing advanced research work where we were working with shape memory polymers. So tools that normally you would have a tool lock, but you could go and you could heat, and the material would get soft at heat, and you could suck it down and pull it out, and then you were able to make complex parts with only
Holy cow.
A single tool, because the actual tooling surface would change shape. So
whoa.
That was
that's pretty cool.
That was like 10 20 year out type stuff. But yeah, and then when I worked on it, I couldn't talk about it, but since right before I got laid off, it became public knowledge. But yeah, so that's what I used to do.
Wow. Sweet.
Now I play video games, and I've been accused of not knowing what I talk about on Facebook because I play video games for a living. I'm like, oh, thank you. I have more degrees than you, but okay. And life experience.
There goes the soapbox. Anyway.
That is nice. That is the soapbox.
Let's see, Alon. Is there any benefit in letting the game run in a higher frame rate than the monitor allows?
It depends what you're using. Like we were discussing earlier, if you're at like 120, 144 hertz, I would say just cap it at that. If you're running at 60, I still like to cap it up in like over 100. Back when I was on a 60 hertz monitor, like iRacing, for example, especially when it was DX9, felt like it felt like it ran better up in triple digits. So, yeah.
I have no opinion because you basically said what I was going to say. So
There you go.
Let's see. Racing 393 asks what I do for a living. Well, I own my own business, and for a while there, I like to jokingly say that I was a professional race car driver while owning my own business. Not anymore because I don't get paid, so at least for the time being. But yeah, I have my own business that I actually run during the week and on the weekend. So the only day I get off is Sunday.
Working hard here.
It's something.
We're doing work. Let's see. Frank Zappa.
Frank
Hi,
Zappa?
Bill. I know. I didn't know. I didn't know he came back alive to ask us a question.
Awesome.
Hi, Billy. Did you get that rush when sitting right in the car in VR, especially since you have a real racing background?
No. There are forces on the body that are at play when you are really racing that, maybe it would feel a little different in like a motion rig. It's cool, but there's like a point that I became, not impressed by it anymore. That sounds terrible. But the only benefit I found that I really enjoyed was like on a street course, like really tight turns so that I could look across. Because when you're racing, your head doesn't do this. You don't constantly, look left to right. You have these just little varying like head tips, and like your eyes do a lot of your looking, like you're glancing, and your head does this. Your head just doesn't turn that far. So while it was nice to follow an apex into the turn, after the initial like shock and awe and like being impressed by, wow, this looks really cool, I kind of got over it really quick and just kind of went, yeah, this is a neat idea. I'd like to see it a little clearer. And that was about it. So unfortunately, I know that's not very exciting to hear, but I did not feel like I was really driving a race car.
There you go. Where are we at? Zachary Greenquist. Random small question. What headphones is the guy on the right wearing? Looks like they would be easy fit under a helmet. Am I on the right? Is this how this works when you're watching?
You've got the in-ears, because I don't have mine today.
Gotcha. These are... It sounds so much different with these out now. These are MCG earbuds. I just bought them off Amazon. I think they're like $20 if you get the volume adjuster. But I've had these for, well, I've used this brand or this style of earbuds now for probably like 4 or 5 years now. They break. This is probably like the 4th or 5th pair. But when they're like $17, it's kind of like whatever. And I use them a lot for working out and stuff.
Yeah, I have a pair that I actually use for doing my music stuff that are actual in-ear, wireless in-ears, but they're like, I think they're like 8 or 10 drivers in it, and they're like $300. So
those are real ones.
Yeah, I was using them on here, and I'm like, man, I should take these back to practice so I don't forget, because I forgot them one time.
There you go. B-Man, John, have you tried SMP on iRacing with the Rift? I have not because it is not activated in VR. That was something when it was, because it came out in the Season 4 build when I previewed Le Mans, and I tried it in triples because it works with triples, but they said that they hadn't implemented it yet in VR. So when they do, I will. But, yep, nothing right now. Well, next one.
T-Bone, how much of the sim stuff is currently made in the USA versus China? Fearing what future price increases may happen with trade deals and etc. So are we getting into political territory with this one? Is that
no?
concerning?
I mean, well, let's stick to the first part of that let's stick to the question. How much stuff is currently made in the U.S. versus China? I don't know how much stuff is made in China. I assume, I think like your Logitech, Thrustmaster, Fanatics, stuff like that come out of China. I believe Darin actually does know, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. Let's see here. I don't think I'm gonna have a made anywhere on the outside of the box. So yeah, I assume most of this stuff comes out of China. As far as I think the high-end stuff would be here. And by high-end, let's see. Well, I mean, Sim Experience is here in Ohio. Only just a couple 2.5 hours from me up the road, so that's made here. You got CXC out there in LA. That's making their own stuff. That's based in the US. You have DSD with button boxes and some of the other peripherals he makes out of Texas. And yeah, I mean you get some other random things here and there, some rig builders, some stands, but yeah, that's about it in terms of sim manufacturing in the USA. But yeah, most of your mass-produced stuff does come out of China. And for that, okay, I'll say this, and I don't see how that could change much going forward, considering how much stuff comes out of China to the whole entire world.
If it's already there, then there's not going to be a big change. It would have to be made here, and then all of a sudden pulled from here, and then made in another country for there to be an effective change. So I don't think we really have anything to worry about there.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. T-Bone, here's one for you. Billy, do your glasses rub against, there you go, the PSVR lenses? You kind of talked about this earlier.
They did not, but I did not get a chance to put a ton of hours into it and take it on and off my head a bunch of times. So that may change my idea if I owned one myself. But it did not. I guess it's a possibility, but it didn't when I tried it.
Yeah. Jack had on the back of his old time. Jack said a lot of high tech items don't come out of mainland China, and I'm like, that is true. I mean, there's a reason why we were building airplanes here and in France and Japan. I mean, they're built all over the world now, but high tech stuff does not get made in China because at certain points the government will just turn the lights off on you. As I was told by a friend of mine whose dad would go over to China to make zippers. He's like the zipper expert of the world. So he spends a lot of time in China, and they deal with factories that just we got to divert power, just shut it off. And that doesn't work. That doesn't work when you're making high tech stuff in very controlled environments like in aerospace. So yeah, high tech stuff doesn't really come out of there for the most part. Let's see. Spatial Dragon. Did you see the new Nürburgring 24-hour / Pagani pack and project cars? That we covered that last week. That was that's the free game they now have with Pagani cars. And then Jack Sternquist, is Dirt confirmed for the fourth quarter build at iRacing? It isn't. I don't see a hard confirm, but I think today's release of those templates is a soft confirm. And also, they've been leaking out. They had the video of Steve Myers a couple weeks back driving the late model around Eldora, and that was looking pretty polished. So I think it's going to be. I think that content we saw today, those 3 cars and Eldora, will probably be out in December, but don't know that for sure. So yeah, fingers crossed. Things can always change. It's software. Things break.
And then the next question, I wasn't quite sure what Sam meant, but just said nothing new to Project Cars, unless you're referring to the Pagani deal that just came out, the demo-like thing. Not that I know of.
No, I mean, there hasn't been any new updates in a while. Project Cars, I think development is complete. I will say there was a few weeks back, I think there was a story, it was GT Planet, that said, or Virtual R, I'm sure Virtual R was on it, saying that Project Cars has sold 2 million copies worldwide. So that was neat, because they got to 1 million copies like a month into release.
Yes.
Which was very impressive. But I think it's probably equally as impressive, even though it's been probably about 15 months later, 16 months. Now we're talking about 2 million copies, but that's still pretty impressive to sell that many after that initial kick. So yeah, 2 million copies. You can't ignore that. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Deadpool asked to John, my rig fits the CSL Elite base. Is it worth it to get it or get the CSW V2? Is the price difference between the CSL Elite base and CSW V2 justified?
I see someone is a nervous buyer and didn't want to just. I talked about this in my review. Performance wise, the CSW V2 isn't $300 better than the CSL Elite, but I think it depends kind of what you're doing rim wise. Quite honestly, I think that matters a lot. If you're gonna get an Xbox One Universal Hub, I think that you should go, and if you're gonna spend that money, invest the money in a CSW V2 with its all aluminum construction, and go that route. I would feel safer with that in the long run. If maybe you're gonna stick with just the P1 rim, or maybe even the F1 rim, which I said in that review, I suggested that's what they should market this wheel with. And then a couple weeks later, I saw a Facebook ad from Fanatec with that rim on it.
Right.
So they're listening to me in some degrees. That's nice. And someone in our review mentioned how they got the rim and they weren't having any bouncing in there. So I'm kind of like, I wonder if they changed something up, because mine still rocks. But I did suggest to them, over emails, it's like, you guys could just go and put like a different pad on the back, and you would, get rid of that. Yeah, because it's all pivoting on the center. I mean, even if they remove the center pad, because there's 1, 2, 3 feet, that would help it. But I told them, it's like, I know that you don't want to put like another SKU, or add another SKU number to the bill of materials and all, take that extra step. But if you go and just make one that's a little thicker and stick it on the back, you get rid of this silly bouncing issue. So anyway, maybe they made some changes. I don't know. They haven't talked to me. But yeah. Anyway, if you're thinking about getting the Universal Hub, I say go with the CSW V2. If not, something that isn't quite as heavy, then maybe you can get away with the CSL Elite. I don't know. The CSL Elite just scared me a little bit because it's kind of plasticky, and the hard mount bolts really don't make me confident. The V2, those, it's metal. It's all metal threads. It's all part of the unibody construction. Like that's not an insert. That gives me no fears. But yeah, the CSL just kind of has these little things that didn't give me the best confidence, and that's why I got the kind of review it got. Huzzah. Let me ask you this one. Happy Crazy Wise, can I use Fanatec CSW V1 with Forza Apex? I think
you'll have to answer that because I don't remember, and I don't use.
Go on isrtv.com. There's a little search icon in the top right corner. Click on that and type in Forza Motorsport, Forza Apex, and look in the results, because I think we had a blog post that had supported wheels.
Yes, we did. Yes.
And even this, I think if you go and look up on YouTube Billy's video that I previewed earlier, I think I have a link in there to the supported wheel list. Maybe. I've been trying to do that. You'd have to go look. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, and that the title of that one has Forza Apex. What is it? Forza Motor Apex 6 or something like that. 6 Apex now with wheel support.
Yes.
Sam, what best pedals with clutch for PC on the market for about $200?
That'd be the Fnatic CSL Elites.
Yes.
200 on the
Mark.
those.
Yep.
Ali Osman, Billy, how did you get into sprint car racing and race competitively? I want to be a NASCAR driver and just turned 16, and I'm in Arizona, and the only thing here really are dirt bikes.
Well, it depends on where you live in Arizona, because I believe there's 2 or 3 dirt tracks in Arizona. And honestly, sprint car racing is, in comparison to like NASCAR, Formula One, that kind of stuff, it's not as expensive, but it's still, if you run a 410 wing sprint car, it is just crazy expensive. I got fortunate enough to be able to afford it for a handful of years. I still want to do it. It's just that the expense is very crushing. And then if that's what you want to do, you're just going to have to find a way to do it. You're going to have to get yourself a hobby stock or something, an outlaw cart. Dirt bikes actually teach you a lot of throttle control. So really riding the dirt bikes is not a bad idea if you want to stay on the dirt, because it gets you the idea of throttle control and how to use the brakes. And then from there back in this, I guess I'm going to segue this back into the 70s. There was a lot of guys that came from racing flat track motorcycles on the dirt that transitioned to sprint cars, because to them running wheel to wheel wasn't a big deal, because they banged elbows and they had to have a lot of throttle control. So they had the racing part underneath them. They just had to learn the physics aspect of the car itself. Just do what you can.
There you go. Eduardo Hernandez, do you think Assetto Corsa going to be patched for PlayStation 4 Pro with better graphics or resolution? I'd be a little surprised, quite honestly, because just kind of what's the incentive at this point? I mean, they seem like they're working on trying to get the graphics running better on just a standard PlayStation, and that's having enough of time with that. Because Billy, you said it still has quite a bit of tearing, right?
Yeah, what was interesting is I actually was going to do another video after they did the patch on the PS4.
Yeah.
Just things interrupted it, and I didn't get a chance to do it. But I actually noticed worse tearing, and it's supposed to be better. I don't know if I'm just an anomaly or whatever, but the fact of the matter is they have a list of PS4 Pro games that are going to be patched. But again, this is more time, effort, and resources that they're going to put into something that they're going to get no return out of. Them being such a small studio, they're still trying to catch up to the PC version, from what I understand. I don't see it happening.
Yep, that sounds about right. Let's see. Marty ACLS17. Which is the hardest to master, oval or road? You know, I kind of got into sim racing for oval stuff, being a NASCAR fan, NASCAR Racing 2003, and back then I probably would have said road. These days, when I go back out on the oval, like in an iRacing, I get my ass kicked. Like it's really bad. Like I was a pretty decent, back. Oh man, I'm 2009, 10. iRacing oval stuff, like the trucks was the highest thing they had, and I would always be in top splits, and I would run, top 5, top 10 against some really strong competition. I did a lot of racing with like Michael Mann back in the day of main PCs. Yeah, so I ran pretty well, but these days I find road much easier than oval. So how about for you, Billy?
Since I've actually gotten the opportunity to run both in real life as well as in sims, oval, the concept of oval was easy for me to grasp, but it was hard to master, if that makes sense. Where going to a road course, it just feels like, I'll put it this way. I had no idea what I was doing when I got into a shifter cart on a huge road course. Never road raced in my life, never shifted anything in my life. If I had started with that first, it probably would have been more difficult. But because I had gone from the sprint car, high horsepower, I mean, you're constantly sawing the wheel in half. And even racing on dirt's even not more difficult, but it teaches you to move your line around because it's constantly changing. So with that in mind, getting to a road course, it didn't bother me to move around and find a fast line. Hitting your apexes is different in most situations. Learning to shift was different for me. Understanding a two-stroke was different for me. But overall, I found I was up to speed much quicker on a road course and able to be more competitive on a road course quicker than I was on an oval. I mean, if you are just a hair off on an oval, if you're running with a bunch of really fast guys, you can't make it up. It's so hard because you've only got 4 corners essentially to work with. Everybody can go fast down the straightaway. It's how you carry your corner speed. It's your entry, middle, and exit, right? So, they break 180-degree corners up into 2 for 90 degrees. So you've got 4 corners to work with on an oval, and that's not a lot of time and or room to try and make up distance. A road course, you've got a bunch of corners. I can be kind of mediocre in one part of the track, and I can be blazing fast in another track. And as long as I hit my marks there, I can make big gains on the person in front of me. I mean, if you're just slow, you're just slow. But I don't know that it's necessarily harder, but for me, it wasn't as difficult. Mm-hmm. Same thing. I've gotten to test a couple larger, full-size cars on a road course, and again, once I got understood like the braking points and stuff, it just wasn't. I don't know. If I was to go run F1 or if I was to go run the Elite series of FIA, like the GT stuff, like GT3, I'd probably get my ass kicked. But maybe on the local level, it's a little different.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Let's see. Let me get one more question, unless you want to get anything else, Billy. But Mark Dolores asked, any Black Friday leaks for sim racing hardware? Have not seen anything yet. Usually those come out, pretty much the lead up to Black Friday. So that maybe the week before, but usually that week. I feel like in sim racing, for the most part, with a lot of let's say a little more mom and pop operations on the hardware side, things kind of like, oh crap, look what time it is. We've been busy making stuff. Oh, let's throw a deal together and let's make sure the website's working and this code works. So yeah, things come a little late in the game, but when they are announced, we'll definitely put a blog out. We've been trying to do that the last couple of years, and put a blog out and talk about it here because yeah, I want you guys to know about those things.
And I'm sure most of us looking for new gear look forward to it, so that'll be cool.
Yes. I think I'm gonna be getting my Black Friday shopping this weekend with some sales at Sam's Club on TVs.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, since I got to replace my TV in the living room after it got broke.
Oops.
Back a few months ago. So, yep. But yeah, I think that will do it for the show. Billy, always a pleasure to have you on.
Thanks for having me. I enjoy being on here, so thanks for everybody hanging out in the chat, and yeah, it was fun.
Yep, and I think nothing broke this week. XSplit didn't lock up like it did last week, so yay! Didn't need that dumpster fire logo or whatever that's going to be, but I got to work on that.
Real quick, hold on. Wayne Williams, set up on ovals, big balls on road course. That is not true.
No, that's the opposite.
Yeah, I could actually drive much more aggressive on a road course and gain a lot more ground and still not be driving as hard as I did my sprint car. You want to talk about big balls? I think of like guys like an F1 or that have to drive a dirt sprint car. I mean, you have to drive so hard in those. It's anything with aero in it, you have to drive real hard. So
yeah, well, they always talk about it when the guys who only did road stuff through their career come to IndyCar, and then they got to go out there and like, go qualify the IndyCar Indianapolis, and all of the downforce been taken off. That's where you find who has large attachments.
Yep.
Because when you hit the wall there, it hurts.
It really hurts
a lot.
I've done it. It don't feel so good.
So, all right. On that note, you guys go out and sim race so you don't have to hit any walls and hurt yourself.
That's right. Drive over your head. It's okay. I'm just teasing.
That's right. So, John Sable, Billy Strange. See you guys later.
Thanks, guys.